What's up, guys? Welcome to another source message. My name is Michelle Giovanni, and I'm super excited to dive into this topic of purpose. I get a lot of questions of how can I find my purpose? How can I live my purpose? I'm not doing the thing I love. I don't know what it is. I'm not clear. And oftentimes, we're obsessing with getting there and reaching this destination point in life where everything is going to make sense and everything is just going to click and we're going to be making money doing the things that we love, and we can't wait. So we start obsessing over that moment of when we get there. And then what happens is that you start bypassing all of the steps to actually get there. You stop presencing the work that gets to be done in this moment to actually reach that destination. And what we forget is that the destination is embedded in every moment. And what we're experiencing right now, what we're presencing right now, what we're making time for, what we're making a priority, is what we're going to experience when we get to that ultimate destination. And so we're obsessing, and when we get there, we reach our goal. For some reason, we're not able to enjoy it and really take it in because we're so obsessed with what's next, what's the next. And I think that's the Achilles of every artist and creator, that we are constantly imagining and creating and dreaming up the next big thing, that we forget to experience the bigness of this moment, of the steps that are actually right here in front of us. And the more we're able to slow down and just really silence that static that is constantly obsessing with what's next, then you'll be able to make space to receive the guidance, the love, the support, and actually experience the miraculous that lives right here in this moment, in your breath, in your step, in your beingness. Sometimes we're so in this pursuit of rushing, even consciousness. We want to rush consciousness. And I often tell clients and in my readings and healing sessions that, beware of the unearned wisdom, because, and I've mentioned this in some of my podcast episodes, where it's so easy to find yourself in that trap of wanting to make sense of it all and wanting to skip the steps that are messy and chaotic, because we just want to get there. We want to understand. We want to be enlightened. We want to feel the bliss. But if you're not working on finding the bliss in this very moment, when you get there, you're always going to experience that spiral obsession of needing more, of obsessing over what's next, because you're not creating the alignment in this present moment. You're not breathing into acceptance and living in this moment fully. And so oftentimes we'll turn to plant medicine and we'll turn to the mushrooms. And I'm not against it. I really believe that we're going to be seeing more and more of that, because the collective is ready for it. The collective is asking for it. But if it turns into our crutch, where we use it every day to find answers within us, that we're not willing to actually be with the pain and feel what needs to be felt so that that inner awakening just blossoms on its own, then you're just rushing the ripening of the soil and whatever fruit. And just pay attention to what's happening to our fruits and our food right now, where if you go into supermarkets and if you go into a farmer's market, or if you go into a farm, I remember growing up in the farm with my grandparents. We would go there in the summer and you could see the difference of the fruits from the actual trees in comparison to the ones that you buy at the supermarkets. They were really different. And so we are changing. We're trying to rush the ripening, the time it takes to actually ripen the fruit, so that we have enough to eat as a collective. And so let's just bring that concept into our life. We're trying to rush the lesson. We're trying to get to that point where we feel the bliss that comes from absolute acceptance and doing the work. But if you're trying to rush that, if you're trying to rush consciousness, when you get there, it won't be solid. It won't be sustainable. You actually won't really integrate the lessons. You won't fully embody them. They won't stay with you. It's like you're rushing to climb a ladder, and before you know it, you skip a step and you got to start right where you began. So I hope this is making sense. In my mind it does, but I'm just really trying to illustrate the point in different forms, in different examples, that there is a purpose to divine timing. There is a purpose to really being present with each step and every moment and every experience, so that you fully integrate and embody the lessons, and then it's almost like an acupuncture. Like, you're going to be able to tap into the next step, and it's going to appear to you with the utmost clarity. It's going to be so clear to you on what's next in this moment. But you don't need to figure out the whole entire ladder. You don't need to figure out the entire blueprint all in one shot. You get to really be with what's in front of you wholeheartedly, with full presence, with all the love and patience and surrendering that this moment is calling forth, so that you can then awaken from the inside out the next step. Not needing the next 20 steps, not needing to understand what purpose will look like at the end of the day. You know, I love to research stories of what I call the elders, but every year I'll pick someone that embodies the level of impact, the level of legacy that I aspire to be and step into. And it's almost like a game that I play with my subconscious mind, because I use it to create tangible evidence for my subconscious mind to lean into and to step into and to really believe in these big wild dreams that I've had. Since I was a little girl, I've always been a big dreamer, and I thought that everyone around me was the same way. And then you start sharing. I started sharing my dreams with people, and I started noticing, holy shit, not everybody dreams on the same level. And that's okay. But in order for me to create the evidence that I needed to believe in the bigness of my dreams, I started feeding my subconscious mind testimonials, evidence of what other people were creating and doing, and how they were being. It wasn't just on the tangible level, but also the being wise. Like, who were they? How did people describe them? How did they make others feel? And I love this game that I play with myself, because it allows me to understand that they didn't have their purpose figured out in their teens and their 20s and their 30s. What they were the game they were playing in their 20s looks completely different to their 50s, right? So it's important to understand that things are going to evolve and things are going to change as you evolve and change. And there's nothing wrong with that. There are people that have gotten their $1 million idea, or, you know, the director of Squid, like, he betted all of his money and was bankrupt creating this thing. There are people like Vera Wang that landed their purpose later on in their 50s. So stop trying to rush to get there. Stop trying to figure it all out at once. Give yourself the space and the time to be with what's present for you right now, to be wholeheartedly with what's available to you in this moment, and start pursuing the breadcrumbs of that excitement. What really has you come alive in this moment? What excites you? Where are those moments that you actually experience aliveness? And can you tap into more of that? And if nothing stands out for you right now, then make space and time for yourself to actually create time for yourself, space for yourself, to be with yourself in the silence, so that you start shutting down the static and the noise and the chatter inside and all the busyness and all the obsession, to just be with yourself with a journal right in front of you. Start journaling well, what is it? If I could say, what are 3 things that actually make me feel alive? What are the things that bring me joy in this moment? When are those moments that I actually feel super present? And the more you start practicing creating spiritual intimacy with yourself, your soul is going to start answering. Maybe right now it doesn't have the space and the time to be with you at the capacity that you're able to listen. So let's stop obsessing over finding our purpose, and let's start obsessing over the things that bring us joy, the things that bring us excitement, and also the things that create value in this world. And you don't have to be this big thinker, but what are the things that you can create value for someone else right now? What are the things that your family and your friends compliment you about? And maybe you've never created the space to receive that. What if you actually interviewed some of your favorite peeps and asked them, what are the things that you see good in me? What are the things that I bring value to your life? So that you can start putting that inquisitive hat on and just start getting really curious about what are the things that make you you. And when you start taking that time and space to develop that spiritual intimacy with yourself, you're going to start listening. You're going to start hearing answers. You're going to start listening to the whispers of the soul. So that was my little tad bit for today, and I just wanted you to stop obsessing with getting there and start presencing the magic now. Let's make space for it to really feel it now. And I promise you that the more you're able to presence the magic now and drop into your body and feel the alignment now, or work towards feeling that now, you're going to start recalibrating to make space for even more magic and miraculousness to continue to appear and show up for you, because now you're being that magnet for it, because you're presencing it now. Let me know if you have any questions, and thank you for tuning in. Love you guys. Bye.